December 2022 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading for the month ahead and our final one for this year. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for all your support and for tuning in. I'm going to give you some key messages and dates to look out for. So we're opening up December with the energy of the Seven of Cups. I do think there's going to be a nice boost to your belief in something. The realization that it can happen, but there may be like a kind of sideways slip in terms of the timing of something, okay? But the intention will be there, and I do think it's something that, by way of the choices that you have available to you, feels like the right thing. So you're about to get some kind of a validation coming through with that energy. Now, you know, she's pointing very specifically to this one star. So even though this is a season where there's an awful lot of distraction and overwhelm, you are aware, I think, of what is distracting, depleting, and trying to dominate you. And in that awareness, you can almost put some countermeasures in place. You can understand what it is that it's going to help you to maintain that sense of harmony and balance within yourself as you move through the month. Many of us want the same things, but you know, the way that we see the attainment of that is down to what our soul chose in terms of how it wanted to experience things. And so the tolerance and the understanding that, you know, we will communicate differently, we will express ourselves differently, and even though ultimately we may be trying to get to the same feeling place, the same state of being or emotion, we are going to take these different routes. And I still think that's also going to be something to just keep in mind, because the people that surround you through the course of December, I feel like in some instances are repeatedly trying to invoke this part of yourself that you've either already released or you've already said, you know, or made a commitment within yourself to kind of say goodbye to, or to quieten or to temper. And that's absolutely testament to your own spiritual growth, really, and you wanting and seeking these more advanced conscious connections in your life across the board, you know, but people for whatever reason still trying to attach to that older version of you because it's within their comfort zones and they don't want to feel like they're losing you or they're losing that part of you. But the Six of Pentacles is also telling me, as we talk about this boost to your belief, that there is something that you can harness, that you can feel that there is the rich potential of. And it may not be something that you are in a position to initiate through the month of December, but I think the realization of it, even if it's coming in and sort of drip feeding, I'm just looking at the drops there coming from the teapot, and it's just like, it's almost like little bits of information or experiences that add up through the month to give you much more certainty about the plausibility of something coming to fruition. Okay, now we've got the healing feeling planets, Neptune and Chiron, both going direct this month. So their retrograde cycles in the last 4 or 5 months have really been helping us to come to terms with some of the healing crisis that we've been through, some of the wounds that we've held onto, and also reimagining some of those creative visions that we have for ourselves. So there's lessons learned that we want to focus upon through the month of December in honor and respect of that. And the thing is, Spirit are looking for your reaction and response to what is unfolding, not necessarily whether you have achieved or not achieved something. So as we, in our state of urgency, you know, at this time of year, go into panic stations that we have to, you know, have something come together or manifest, or we have to get to a certain point in time or plant ourselves in a place where we feel like it's justifying the investment or the work that's put in. And, you know, that can really mess with our vibration, because then expectations are not met, and then we start to feel like, what's the point? Or we've missed opportunities, or there's regret that surfaces. And yet, if you can find deep acceptance in where you are planted, what is around you, what is happening, and look for the ways in which you've changed and evolved and grown, that's where Spirit are really saying, here's the growth, here's something to celebrate and acknowledge within yourself. And, you know, we maintain these sort of rivers of emotions, and they run alongside us through all of our experiences, and they may hold on to precious memories where things have moved out of your life, to loss that you've had, regrets that you hold on to, and they remind us that we're here and we're living and that we've gone through these experiences that have shaped us. But there's also this invitation through the month of December, as we look at the 2 flowers here that are still in bloom and still growing, that you give time and energy to those parts of yourself, your life, your relationships and situations that are still evolving and expanding. And I think that there's almost this sense of like a passion project, receiving some really beautiful inspiration for you this month. And again, you might not be in a position to handle that right yet. There might be too much going on. You might be experiencing an awful lot on an emotional level, but at the same time, there's something here that's going to give you that beautiful sense of respite and solace as you retreat into yourself to think about it and the potential of it. And that can be a really sound antidote if you are having to participate or go through things in the course of December that feel deeply sensitive or triggering. Now we've got a full moon coming in Gemini on the 7th of the month, so an explosion of messages and information, news making its way towards you. Now some of it is misinformation, some of it is distraction energy. Remember I said you're going to be very clear on what or whom is distracting, depleting or trying to dominate your energy field. And yet at the same time, I think there's also something deeply refreshing and quite cathartic about what's said or what you receive or what you choose to say around that energy of the full moon. Your Knight of Pentacles has really firm, grounded, tangible intention, and I like that a lot for you this month. I think it's going to help keep you on track, and it's going to help you to maintain a level of focus. I also think you've got a really beautiful moment coming in around that full moon where there is almost a communication to you about the impact that you've had in somebody's life, Leo. So they're sort of showing me a returning connection. And by the way, we have Mercury retrograde happening on the 29th, one more before the year is out. So you'll be feeling the shadow of that in the early part of December. However, I have this sort of beautiful communication, articulation from somebody about something that you've said, something that you've done. For you, it might have felt fairly insignificant, but for them, it was huge. And I think it's really helped powerfully with a sense of major transformation and change in their life. And I think that you'll receive that message, and it's deeply heartwarming, and again reminds you to kind of lean in to those moments where you feel uncertain about whether to step in or to share or to try to support or have compassion. And it's again a reminder of the ways in which you've changed and evolved as well. It will be a beautiful sort of mirroring experience, so that's really nice as I see it coming through. Now, the thing to also keep in mind this month is that Jupiter, still in Pisces, it's going to be re-entering Aries on the 20th, but ahead of then, there's going to be these powerful squares happening astrologically. So these moments of tension come about, and remember, Jupiter will amplify anything that it puts its gaze towards. And we have a tendency to overstretch, overcommit, and just go to the extreme with something. Now, it's the season of that, but just keep in mind this more grounded, certain approach, and then you're not going to find yourself kind of stressing out or panicking or feeling like, how do I get myself out of this? So that's just the 5th and the 9th, which is going to be right around that full moon, but also the third one comes in on the 21st when Jupiter's back in Aries, which may be even more amplified with that fiery energy. So just keep that in mind. Now, your King of Pentacles coming through here, also sort of standing in quite an elevated position on top of the antlers, really acting as a sort of I kind of want to say like a negotiator. So I feel like I've got this individual, because I feel this is a person that's going to be quite instrumental in bringing something together, perhaps people together, a group together, or bringing two energies to the table, or just being the bridge or the necessary conduit for something to have to manifest. Now you, because I feel this is the representation of you, the work that you're doing, the path, the focus, the groundedness, the trust that you have in what is unfolding right now, and the loyalty to your vision or what you feel or see is the right thing, is almost like waiting for this to land, waiting for this to happen. I think it's going to. I think you can trust in your intuition in terms of feeling into the certainty of something. May show up in a way you hadn't anticipated by way of a person that you hadn't expected it to be, but spirits sort of have this in a divine order, if you like. So there's a reminder here, you don't need to keep searching for yourself and other people's approval this month. You need to give yourself permission in a way to go forward with the things that you know are right for you. And remember, in Sagittarius energy, it's 5th house, you're the natural ruler, so there's a fun and a lightness and a playfulness, a connection into your creativity, to bringing form to those ideas that burst forth from the heart place. And Queen of Wands, again capturing that natural fire essence. You can work with fire dragon energy this month. These elemental beings are with us, especially through Sagittarius season. They will help to clear and transmute any heavier, denser energies around you, bring about this level of queendom and inner majesty, and help you to stand really proud. And I want to say that there is something that you should be exceptionally proud of in yourself in December, Leo. And I really want you to take time to kind of observe and witness when that surfaces. And maybe it is connected to this person sort of recounting the impact that you've made. Maybe it's something else. But regardless, listen to that moment and take the time to really praise, because we want to amplify and mirror that energy. It's making you very abundant. Now you have all these sacred bees around you. So there's something about the community, the hive of activity, the energy. And you're right at the heart of that. And the peacock feathers in her skirt here suggest to me a level of sort of leadership coming through. So you are directing, or you're going to be invited or asked to kind of step up and take the lead on something this month. You may yourself feel like, I'm not sure I've got the time or the space or the wherewithal to kind of see this through. And as long as we're mindful, we're not overcommitting, I do think it's also an opportunity for you to sort of show something about who you are, your potential, your gifts, just the way that you see things and how you think it can work. Now, be prepared for some chaos and some sort of resistance, I think, amongst the energy of that particular situation when it unfolds, but I think it's nothing that you cannot handle. And as we move into Capricorn energy, grounded earth, coming into that 6th house for you, it's really about the not only taking care of yourself, but thinking how you want to make, what you do matter. It's those divine acts of service, but you do need to listen to anything that's coming up by way of chronic feelings, chronic symptoms. Yeah, remember, we can't be in survival mode and at the same time rest, repair, restore and rejuvenate. And so there's a requirement on your part during Capricorn energy to listen to that, because there's some important revelations from your guides that are coming in to support you. Now we have the sun in Capricorn on the 21st, same day as solstice, just ahead of the new moon on the 23rd. I love solstice energy. These celestial stillness brings an opportunity to really level us. And in that moment, I feel like you make a decision. You make a decision that honors you. And you might think, I don't know how on earth I'm going to make this into a reality. I don't know how people are going to take this. I don't know how even to begin, but I think there's something powerful because it's a turning point. It's a bit of a watershed moment for you. And again, it's sort of a culmination of everything that you've been through. So there's no way that you could have made this decision any sooner than this exact moment that's going to be upon you around that solstice just ahead of the holidays. And the realization of that, I think, will also give you relief, because it's going to remind you that it's always perfect time. There's not ever going to be a moment when you're running out of time to achieve something, to do something, to make impact or make a change in your life. And the sacred remembering that's coming about, it almost feels like amnesia, It's like all of a sudden you start getting these fragments back, and soon you'll be joining the dots more and more and more. But for now, we just want you to keep open and keep letting love spill into the room. It may feel inconvenient to you to be expressing certain things at certain moments, but when your heart's telling you now's the time, then you just have to move with it, because Spirit are directing you to a place that's not only for your higher self, but others. And I think you might be feeling into some sort of weird behavior with some people around you through the course of this month. And, you know, you might be getting to the bottom of that and finding out that someone was given inaccurate or sort of information, or even like half the story. Okay, but if you can let it go in terms of how they're responding towards you, then it will resolve much faster, and you'll hear everything you need to about what went on behind the scenes, probably exacerbated around that full moon in Gemini, I have no doubt. So we've pulled the last 3 cards, Leo. These are going to be covered in our extended reading if you're joining me. We talk for another 25-30 minutes, give you deeper insight into the month. I'm also going to ask you to think about a personal question that might not have come up so far in the main spread, and again we'll cover that for you. Let's just clarify these cards now as well, just to see the direction that we're going to be taking with some of the messages. There will be deep reflection going on with Mercury retrograde, of course, with it being the end of the year. That sacred pause is necessary to sort of assimilate everything that you've gone through. It's important you remember the things that you want to devote your time and energy to, and let them be louder than the doubts that are creeping in, the fear that is being perpetuated around you, you know. Okay, a little bit of stress of the season coming through there. Emperor energy. All the decks that I use are listed in the comment section and description box underneath, Leo. The asteroid goddess Ceres is also shifting into Libra on the 18th. And here, you know, the nourishment and nurturing of her presence is really helping you to find balance and remembering the beauty within yourself and others to help kind of maintain that equilibrium where necessary, especially when we're deeply triggered. Now, my sacred soul support this month is focusing on a beautiful 2022 soul review and a light body graduation. And also in the shadow, we're going to be looking at scarcity, the activation of fear and lack, and how it can affect you through this month. Another Queen of Wands coming through for you. I really like that showing up to support you through this month. Nothing's going to feel particularly perfect in December for you. Circumstances are going to feel that way, where they're just spiraling and at times perhaps out of control. But at the same time, like the way that they land, you know, if you tried to write it, you couldn't. And I think it's just going to show you actually the sort of divine intervention that's been at play to kind of help support you. So try to be at peace with the process of how this imperfection ends up kind of coming together. Just going to pull some oracle cards now. This is Life Soul Vision, my new deck. Thank you so much for those of you that have invested and that are sharing and tagging me in the readings, and so happy it's out in the collective. You can check all the cards out over on my website if you want to get your personal copy. What do we have? Spirit Stag, Heavenly Timing. Beautiful. Okay, let's cover off your Priestess of Light oracle. This extended reading for December will also feature a message for 2023. We'll give you a little bit of a heads up of what we're seeing coming in for the year. Circle of Eternal Joy. Timelessness, dance of life. That's beautiful. Okay, and finally our Angels of Atlantis. I have a beautiful new angel reading similar to the goddess reports that I offer, based on your personal natal chart, that also talk about the angelic influences of protection around you. It's really lovely. Again, you can check the links for that in the comment and description box. And one other thing I'll be doing, if you purchase all 12 soul stories, is a bonus love reading that will cover all different situations, 30-minute reading for deeper insight into December. Your archangel is Haniel, coming through with willpower. Love that. Okay, Leo, thank you so much for all your support. I hope these messages resonate and help you through the month of December. I wish you a peaceful and deeply present season, And if you're joining me for the extended, we'll continue this cosmic conversation. Otherwise, I'll see you guys again in 2023. You take good care. Beautiful blessings.